Blueface's features may have taken on a purple glow after he let Ryan Garcia punch him. Because he was having some trouble breathing in a wild new vid. The boxer live-streamed his hang with the rapper. Friday night. And just 15 minutes into the stream, the duo engaged in an age-old guy tradition. One dude punching another as hard as possible. Blueface asked if Garcia wanted to throw a haymaker at him. And Garcia accepted, though BF wore protective gear over his stomach to lessen the blow. He also had one request from Garcia, telling the other man he didn't want to crap his pants since he'd just recently eaten. The two then lined up across from one another. Blueface pulled up his arms and Garcia uncorked a vicious blow to his side, which didn't knock Blue down, but certainly put him out of commission for a couple of minutes. Blueface, doubled over in pain, told the crew to cut the camera, And he certainly didn't want to try a second punch. He still sat around and hung out with the boys after withstanding the brutal beating. But what viewers couldn't see, what the camera didn't fully capture, was the strange mix of pride, pain, ego, and sheer disbelief swirling in the room after that punch landed. Because even though Blueface managed to stay on his feet, the shockwave that traveled through his torso told a completely different story. The force of a professional boxer's full power punch, even with padding, isn't something a normal human body is built to absorb. And even someone as tough, controversial, and boldly reckless as Blueface felt every ounce of that reality. For a few moments, he wasn't the loud, confident rapper who could take on any challenge. He wasn't the viral troublemaker who seemed to thrive off chaos. He was just a man trying to catch his breath, hunched over with his hands braced on his knees, blinking hard as he tried to mask the stabbing pain shooting across his ribs. The room fell halfway silent, not because the guys were worried, but because even they were trying to process what they just witnessed. A punch like that isn't entertainment. It's physics. Brutal, unforgiving physics. Garcia stood there, half impressed, half concerned, watching Blueface gasp and swallow air like someone who'd suddenly been reminded how fragile the human body really is. For a second, Ryan's fighter instincts kicked in, and he asked if the rapper was good. But Blueface, still wheezing, waved him off with a shaky hand. He didn't want sympathy. He didn't want attention. He wanted pride. The same pride that got him into this mess. What the live stream couldn't fully show was the way Blueface tried to laugh through the pain. That awkward, strained laugh that comes from not wanting to admit something hurts as much as it does. Every guy knows that laugh, the one that says, "I'm fine," even though internally everything is screaming. What was I thinking? The people around them kept hyping it up like it was a casual slapbox moment between friends. But the truth is, anyone who knows boxing saw what really happened. Ryan Garcia didn't hold back. He didn't deliver a playful jab or a friendly body shot. He delivered a real punch. A real, trained, explosive punch from someone whose fists have the power to end fights in seconds. Even padded, that impact was no joke. And Blueface felt every bit of it. As the minutes went by, the rapper tried to shake it off. He straightened his back, took a few deep breaths, rubbed the spot Garcia hit like he was trying to massage the pain away. But the discomfort didn't go anywhere. The sting settled into his muscles. The deeper aches sank into his ribs. And that feeling of breathlessness still lingered. Sharp and stubborn. Everyone in the room teased him, joked around, laughed it off like it was the most regular thing in the world. But even through the jokes, there was this unspoken awareness. Blueface wasn't the same after that punch. His skin tone had shifted a little. His breathing had changed. His posture wasn't as loose and carefree as before. It was like the punch recalibrated his entire evening. And the ironic part, he'd asked for it. This wasn't one of those situations where someone gets blindsided or pressured into proving themselves. Blueface invited the hit. He practically challenged Garcia. Maybe it was ego. Maybe it was clout. Maybe it was pure foolishness. Or maybe it was that complicated sense of masculinity where men sometimes test their limits. just to see if they can still take a hit. But when the punch actually came, he realized just how big that difference is between playful bravado and a real blow from someone with a trained, lethal skill set. Ryan Garcia isn't a YouTuber. He's not an influencer with boxing gloves. He is a world-class professional with speed and power most people will never experience. 'Cause most people are smart enough not to voluntarily stand in front of it. After the stream cut to a different angle, Blueface leaned back in a chair, hands still resting over his ribs, trying to act like he was fine. His friends kept talking, but every time he shifted slightly, a jolt of discomfort crossed his face. He tried to hide it, but all the small details, slower breathing, tighter movements, hands drifting back to his side, gave away exactly how much that punch was still living in his body. Ryan Garcia, meanwhile, grinned like a kid who'd just won a carnival game. Not out of malice, but out of the pure adrenaline of knowing he'd landed a perfect shot. Even boxers get surprised when they see how much damage their strikes can do to someone who isn't trained to absorb them. And Blueface, he tried to keep his cool because in a room full of cameras, jokes, live stream viewers, and people waiting to clown him, the last thing he wanted was to look weak. That's the thing about moments like this, there's always a performance happening beneath the surface. The pain is real, but so is the pressure to pretend it ISN, single quotes T, little by little, though the sting started easing up. Not disappearing, but settling. Blueface's breathing became steadier. His color returned to normal. He cracked a few jokes of his own, partly out of relief and partly to convince everyone he was back in good spirits. But the impact of that punch stayed with him throughout the night. Every laugh came with a twinge. Every twist of his torso came with a reminder. Every cough made him wince, just slightly. Yet he stuck around. He didn't storm out. He didn't complain. He didn't demand sympathy. He stayed in the room, around the guys, part of the vibe. He wanted to prove that the punch might have hurt, but it didn't break him. That may have been pride, ego, or just the stubbornness of someone who refuses to be embarrassed on camera. But inside, he knew. Ryan knew. Everyone knew that punch did damage. And the craziest part? This moment, this wild late-night chaos caught on a live stream instantly became part of the internet's memory. People clipped it, shared it, commented on it, debated whether Blueface was insane, brave, or just doing too much. Some laughed, some cringed, some genuinely worried he was hurt. The clip replayed across social platforms, each replay highlighting the force, the reaction. The aftermath. In Blueface, whether he intended to or not, had created yet another viral moment. But the story didn't end at the punch. What happened afterwards, the subtle changes in his demeanor, the quiet moments he thought no one noticed, the little struggles he tried to hide became its own narrative. Because sometimes the aftermath reveals more truth than the moment itself. Hours later, when the cameras were off and the energy died down, Blueface leaned back on a couch, fingers gently pressing the tender spot on his ribs. The room was quieter. The laughs weren't as loud. The adrenaline had faded, replaced by a deep, pulsing soreness that felt heavier with every passing minute. He took another breath and winced. Not dramatically, not loudly, but enough to prove what he wouldn't admit out loud: the punch left a mark.